Buzz, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the stories that make K-pop more than just music. It's emotion, growth, and sometimes heartbreak. Today, we're going to talk about something that's been weighing on the minds of Injeans around the world. It's about Nikki from ENHYPEN and his recent confession that left fans deeply worried. So, Nikki recently went live on Weverse, and it wasn't just your usual fun idol fan interaction. During this live, he got really honest, opening up about something that a lot of idols don't usually talk about so openly, the struggle of resting. He said that even when he has a day off, it doesn't really feel like a rest day because he knows he'll just go straight back to work the next day. And when you think about it, that hits hard, doesn't it? ENHYPEN's been working nonstop, tours, comebacks, fan meetings, variety shows. It's an intense schedule. And Nikki, being the maknae, debuted when he was still so young. Imagine growing up in the spotlight, working under constant pressure, and barely having time to breathe, let alone rest. It's not just physical exhaustion, it's mental and emotional fatigue too. What really struck me about his words is that he mentioned wanting to spend more time with his family and visit his hometown. That right there shows what he's truly longing for. Not luxury, not fame, but just a sense of normalcy, a bit of peace, a moment where he can just be Riki, not Nike from ENHYPEN. And that's something so human, so relatable. I think a lot of fans feel torn hearing this. On one hand, we're so proud of him and the group. They've achieved so much in such a short time. But on the other hand, it's painful to realize that the cost of that success might be their well-being. Fans are now questioning if Billif Lab is doing enough to care for their artists. It's not the first time we've heard concerns about management and rest schedules in K-pop, right? Some fans even compared ENHYPEN's workload to artists under other HYBE labels, saying it feels unbalanced. And honestly, this raises an important conversation about the K-pop industry as a whole. Are idols getting enough rest? Are entertainment companies prioritizing mental health the way they should? We've seen similar situations before, idols who've had to take breaks for burnout, or who admitted years later how difficult things really were behind the scenes. It's heartbreaking because we, as fans, want our idols to be happy while doing what they love. Nikki's confession really reminds us that even though idols live glamorous lives on stage, they're still human. They get tired, they get homesick, they crave connection. And when someone as young as Nikki talks about feeling like he never truly rests, that's not just a small comment. It's a cry for balance. I think what makes this so emotional is how transparent he was. It's not easy to admit something like that publicly, especially when you know fans are watching and the company might be listening too. It shows a lot of courage and also how much he trusts his fans. Because in that moment, he wasn't talking as a performer, he was talking as himself. I wonder what you guys think about this. Should companies be doing more to ensure idols have genuine rest time? Or is this just the reality of a highly competitive industry? And for those of you who've been following ENHYPEN since debut, have you noticed how much they've grown and matured, but also how the workload seems to never stop? I personally feel that idols like Nikki, who debut young, deserve special attention. They're growing up in a high-pressure environment that can really shape their mental and emotional health long-term. And honestly, it's sad that something as simple as rest has become such a rare luxury in this industry. Anyway, this situation with Nikki isn't just about one idol. It's about a bigger issue that keeps coming up in K-pop. The conversation needs to keep going. And fans speaking up might actually help companies realize that rest isn't optional. It's necessary. Because idols can't give their best performance if they're mentally and physically drained, right? All right, let's talk about it. What do you think when you hear Nikki's confession? Do you think fans should push harder for companies to prioritize idol well-being? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is something we really need to discuss as a fandom and as a community that genuinely cares about the people behind the music. And speaking of idols who've been working hard and getting recognition for it, there's another group that's been making waves lately, and that group is BTS, or more specifically, RM. who's once again proving that even while serving in the military, his influence and generosity reach far beyond the music industry. But this time, the story takes a very different and honestly shocking turn. According to recent reports from Korean news outlets, a massive sum of money raised by the Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs, money that includes RM's own donation, has apparently been completely lost in the system. Yeah, you heard that right. Lost. Let's break this down. Back in September of last year, while RM was still in the military, he made a personal donation of 100 million KRWs, that's around 70,000 US, directly to the ministry. His goal was clear and deeply meaningful. He wanted to support uniformed workers, soldiers, police officers, firefighters, the people who dedicate their lives to serving the country. It was such a heartfelt move that it inspired others to give too. Because of his donation, the ministry reportedly raised a total of about 1 billion KRW, which is around $700 USD. And it wasn't just about the money. RM's gesture literally motivated thousands of people to donate. The number of donors increased 100-fold. The Minister of Patriots and Veterans Affairs, Kang Jung-ae, even sent RM a thank you letter and publicly praised his contribution, using his name to promote the campaign. Everything looked good, until now, because just a few days ago, JTBC reported that the ministry cannot confirm whether those donations were ever actually used for the causes they were meant for. In other words, there's no way to verify if the money helped the soldiers, firefighters, or police officers RM wanted to support. And the reason? Apparently, all donations are put into one giant National Merit Support account, where everything gets mixed together and becomes impossible to track. When I first read this, my jaw dropped. How can something like this happen, especially when it involves not just an ordinary donation, but one that came from such a trusted and influential public figure? RM didn't just give money, he gave trust, he gave influence, and his act encouraged thousands of others to do the same. To hear that it might have all vanished into a bureaucratic blur, it's honestly infuriating. A member of the Democratic Party of Korea, Lee Jung-moon, even accused the ministry of promoting misleading information, basically using RM's name to make themselves look good while not actually ensuring the donations were handled properly. The ministry tried to defend itself by saying that everything is managed manually and that detailed tracking is practically difficult. But come on, this is 2025. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in public donations. Practically difficult isn't an excuse anymore. And of course, armies are furious. Fans are calling out the ministry on social media, saying things like, "You're telling me 1 billion won just went missing and the government doesn't know where it went? And they even used him as a poster boy last Chuseok. And now this?" People are heartbroken, angry, and honestly, disappointed. Because RM didn't do this for attention. He did it because he genuinely cares. I totally understand why fans are so upset. RM is someone who constantly sets an example through his art, his leadership, and his character. And to see his goodwill being taken advantage of or worse, wasted due to a system failure feels like a betrayal not just to him, but to everyone who believed in the cause. And let's be real, this whole thing raises a much bigger issue about accountability and transparency in public institutions. When donations are made for a specific purpose, that purpose should be honored. It's not just about money, it's about integrity. When people give from the heart, especially public figures who use their influence to inspire others, the least that can be done is to ensure their intentions are respected. This news really makes you question how many other donations might have disappeared in the same way. Not just from celebrities, but from everyday people who wanted to make a difference. And if something like this can happen to RM, someone with global influence, what does that say about the system itself? But at the same time, this also shows the power of transparency and fan communities. The fact that fans are calling out the issue so loudly means there's pressure for answers, and hopefully, that leads to some real accountability. I think this story isn't just about frustration. It's also a reminder of how much influence the public has in holding institutions accountable. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think about this situation? Do you believe the ministry's explanation that tracking is just too difficult? Or do you think there's something deeper going on here? And more importantly, how can fans and the public make sure donations like RM's actually reach the people they're meant for? Let's keep this conversation going in the comments, because this is about more than just one idol. It's about fairness, trust, and respect. And that's it for today's Anyang Buzz. Thanks for watching and staying until the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want to keep diving into stories that reveal the real side of K-pop, not just the glitz, but the truth behind it. See you in the next one.